is this crowing? Oh, it's that little young rooster right there, the white one. He's just gotten old enough to start acting roostery. Hey chickens. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my farm, to my chicken yard. It's funny, that little rooster, he's like a squeaky little guy. This is the king of this flock. So that little guy, I don't even know how he ended up in here. He must have just looked very hennish for a while. But he's definitely roostery now, and he is just being really loud. I'd be curious to see how that works out. Typically you have a dominant bird. Like if you have a couple roosters in a flock, you'll have one that's very dominant, which it's the biggest one. Mostly that is the oldest, but eventually, occasionally you'll have a younger one that comes up and kind of like takes over. So you can see there's some pumpkins in here. I was trying to get a shot of the guineas. They went behind the coop. A couple of months ago, I went to a farmer's market and someone was selling little guinea keats, and they were fully feathered. One of them's actually in the coop right now. They were fully feathered, and so I got them and I just put them in with our Cornish cross flock so that they would basically learn to stay. One of the big things with having guinea fowl is that they wander, and a lot of times they'll leave or they'll end up getting like hit by a car in the road. So I'd been hesitant to like get eggs and hatch them or buy guinea fowl and just raise them on their own. I wanted to raise them with chickens so they would learn to stay put. Well, we processed the Cornish crosses a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and the guinea fowl, we let them wander there for a little while. I actually need to ask Jeremiah, because today I didn't see them wandering around. I'm like, where'd they go? And they're in here with this chicken flock, which I'm assuming he put them in here and they did not fly in here to join the chickens, but I need to ask him to be sure, because I actually don't know. So guinea fowl are really great for pest management. They're also really loud, so they can work kind of as alarm animals. I mean, they're birds, they're not gonna like guard anything, but they can definitely alert if there are intruders or something that's scary to them. Problem with things like that, people say that for geese too, as far as being like alarm bells, guard animals. But what happens ultimately if you have a really loud animal on the farm, you just get so used to it that you mostly block it out. I don't know, I can tell Gabriel's barks whenever he like is actually, when there's actually a threat versus his warning bark. I can tell the difference from having been around him for so long. But guinea fowl are also really good to keep snakes down. And we do have snakes here. I mean, we live in the south. We also have a big pond, but we don't deal with it too bad. That's why I wanted some guineas. Of course, now keeping them in the electric fence probably isn't gonna do that, but that's okay. It is funny because between the two flocks, and then we have the rogue rooster that's running around here out in this pasture, and then we have the few out in the main pastures, and they'll get to crowing at each other, and it will be quite a ruckus, which it's a delightful ruckus. I like it very much. The other day someone commented about me still having shade cloth on my high tunnels, which I agree seems weird because it's November and it's cold, right? The garden froze last week. Well, today it's 80, or was 80. I think it's cooling off now that the sun's about to set. But that's 26 Celsius for those of you who are elsewhere. That's warm. And if I took the shade cloth off, it would probably be an oven in here. But we've got this propped up on the trough just to give it a little bit of airflow. I haven't done much out here yet because I was kind of waiting to see what the weather would do so I could adjust my expectations to a healthy place. Oh, look. This is nice. These are Brussels sprouts. See, you'll see the little baby Brussels sprouts coming up in the armpits this plant. I really wish these would be done by Thanksgiving, but I do not think that they will be. My little brother and his wife are on their way here. They've been down in Charleston, and then they're coming up to visit with us for a couple of days. Jackson, my baby angel, the boy that made me a mama, is turning 18 this week, so that's wild. I keep having this like absurd thought of like, why did no one tell me that this was gonna go by so fast? And then obviously I realized like they all told me. I just didn't have any grid to believe them. But Drew and Katie are gonna be here, and I was in my house and I was telling Maya, I was like, they'll be here pretty soon. It's too early to start dinner. It's too close to the dinner to really start getting in the middle of anything else. And I was like, I don't know what to do. You know, like I have this listless like 30-minute period. I was like, I'm gonna grab the camera and go out and take a little walk with my friends. With some coffee, some late afternoon coffee, which may or may not be a good idea. I will say that this Beulah coffee is rocking my world. This is our coffee. Like, we have a coffee roastery and we drink the coffee. Isn't that exciting? Oh, hey there, avocado kitty. Oh, isn't this kitty so pretty? She's got these little orange specks all on her. She's got this orange tabby leg and the prettiest green eyes, if she would show us. Kitty kitty. Oh, so pretty. Years ago, if you've been here long enough, you know this, but a lot of you are new, so you might not know. But I had this garden kitty named Kitten George, and he was the best. And he actually got hit by a car. It was very, very sad. And when we got these new barn cats, I was not warm. I was not like, my heart was not open. I was like, I am not gonna have another garden kitty. And Zucchini, his little gray one, she was always underfoot. She's very sweet, but I just, you know, I mean, I never could say I don't like an animal. I like them, but it wasn't like Kitten George. I mean, I just did not adore them the way that I did him. But I'm telling you what, Avocado has relentlessly pursued my affections, and she's winning me over. Aren't you, girl? You know what's funny is that she lived here for like at least a year. I think they're like a year and a half old, our barn cats. We have 5 barn cats. Interestingly, we have 5 cats that are outside. They're all females. Somebody had said, maybe she's giving you attention because she's pregnant. They're all fixed because I only wanted 5. 5 was enough. 5 is a lot of cats to have outside and to feed and to care for. But I have 3 cats inside that are all males, and they're all fixed also. But I don't know why. It just turned out that way, that all the ones outside are female and the inside ones are males. But she had little to nothing to do with me for a year. She just wanted nothing to do with me. And then it was like all of a sudden one day, she was like, you're my person. And she's been right underfoot since then. She purrs so loud when I pick her up. And I don't know, she snuck up on me. And and Zucchini's still very sweet. She actually has become really attached to the kids. But Avocado, I think it was her aloofness for a while that she just surprised me when she started showing me all this attention. And so I started showing it back, and the next thing I know, she's in my lap every time I sit down out in the garden. And I'm like, you little stinker. I ended up with another garden kitty without even meaning to. Snuck right up on me, didn't you, girly? Unfortunately, she's a little bit of a biter. Affection's kind of strange, the way that, you know, you kind of have to open your heart up to it. And heartbreak makes it close down. I mean, it's okay. I think that there's process and time and grieving and all of that. But I didn't really realize that my heart wasn't open until it was. Little sneaky cat. She snuck her way in, and now she's trying to bite my foot. Oh, out in my lovely, lush high tunnel. Here I've got lots of little baby rutabagas coming up in rows. Pretty excited about this. And I noticed this the other day. My ranunculus are starting to grow all through here. Of course, these won't bloom till spring, but the sprouts are coming up, so that's pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna sit here and chat for a moment, drink my coffee before it gets cold or a bug in it. That often happens, unfortunately, when I bring my coffee to the garden. So we started this thing, and I haven't talked to you guys about it yet because I I wanted to get into it. Now, I have to be careful sometimes when I'm really excited about something, because if I talk about it too much, then I won't do it. And that's why I wanted to thoroughly get this challenge underway before sharing about it, because I wanted to actually like get through the hump of starting to do it while I was still excited, not let the steam off of my excitement. So we started a challenge. It's been 5 weeks ago, where we decided to not go to the grocery store, not do grocery shopping. And the challenge for us was for the rest of the year. I can already tell you it's going to be more than that. And it has been so interesting what it has been like for us. Now, we grow a lot of food, obviously. You guys have seen that. And I would even say we grow much of our food. I cannot say that we grow most of our food. There are certain things that we grow most of. Like I buy very, very little produce, very, very little meat. Like what I do buy of meat is like things that are kind of more convenient. Like we order from Butcher Box and I'll get like bratwursts and salmon and stuff like that. The thing that I was really hung up with in grocery shopping was that my kids go to school and they take school lunches. And so I would still buy a pretty good deal of cold cereal for breakfast, just for convenience sake. And then the school lunch thing was like the real big hang up for me. So I would buy stuff for sandwiches. I would make bread a lot, but of course if I'm popping in the store to get something, I would be like, well, I'm here, I'll just go ahead and buy a loaf of bread since I don't have any made. And it was really conveniences like that. Now, when I say convenience foods, I wasn't buying like TV dinners or things that, you know, I wasn't buying like bag meals or things like that. I used to eat a lot of that stuff and I've gotten away from it. But there were definitely like convenient things and processed things that I was still purchasing for the sake of convenience. And Jeremiah and I were talking, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I was just talking about how I love food and food is so important to me, but I get really burnt out and just kind of being like, what should we do? And we were talking about sustainability and self-sufficiency and conversations that we have a lot, it's just the topic of our life. And I was talking about how I would love to like take that even further and like do better at using what we have and not falling into conveniences. And I've been processing a lot of this conversation with you guys when I talk about food not needing to be fast, cheap, and easy. I did a podcast about that recently that I'll put a link to, where I really went into depth about embracing slow food. And that thought process has really come with embracing this challenge. Now, I have to clarify a couple things, because I can really fall into black and white thinking that's not healthy, like making things like have to fit in a box or be by a certain set of rules. And I really didn't want to do that with this, especially considering like one night I still had to take the Gatorades and the candy bars for the football team that, you sign up as a parent for one night and things like that. And so the idea was that I was not going to do like regular grocery shopping for the rest of the year. I was going to use what we have, use what's in our stores. However, I didn't really want to deplete all of my food storage. So I'm still ordering once a month from Azure Standard, which I order like bulk food. But even with that, like it's still, I'm not ordering any convenience foods. It's primarily like ingredients to be able to bulk cook. And I figured I would make like 2 exceptions for the rest of the year, one for Thanksgiving and one for Christmas. But even then, like the more I get into this, like the things I thought I would need to make exceptions on, I don't think that I will. There are a couple things like my Aunt Anne's sausage pinwheels that use canned crescent rolls, and I could probably squeak something out from scratch, but it's like with traditions, do you mess with it? I don't know. Anyway, so we're about 6 weeks in to not grocery shopping. So the first thing to go was obviously school lunches had to be revamped, and we've really gotten into a good groove of like just cooking extra for dinner so the kids can take leftovers. I've been baking bread really regularly, so they take peanut butter and jelly some. We've got ham from our pigs, which I've had to like slice super thin because it's not deli ham, it's just like regular ham, and making sandwiches with that, or like ham and cheese biscuits, and taking those for lunch. I've been roasting like drumsticks, chicken drumsticks, and roasting meat for them to take. And they've been awesome. My kids have just been really cool at like just rolling with it and being like, okay, Mom, you know, like we'll go with it. And man, has it grown me, and it has given me such a great appreciation like for everything that we're doing. And I know that for some people, like I've told people all the time, we do not grow all our own food. We still buy some things. So for some people, they're like, what, you're just getting here? I thought you were already there. No, I'm just getting here. And it's been like it's been a really good thing for me. And I know not everybody will be able to do that, but I think sometimes creating a challenge for yourself in whatever way, maybe you're not gonna say, I'm gonna stop going to the grocery store, because obviously if you don't have all this, like that's not really an option. But like saying, I'm gonna absolutely stop buying store-bought bread, and just like draw a line in the sand, or do it with a time frame. For 3 months, I'm only gonna make homemade bread, or whatever it is, like I'm gonna do homemade lunches, or make some sort of challenge. Man, I love a good challenge, and I think I needed that, and it's just really brought a lot of inspiration to me. So when I'm looking at the Brussels sprouts, I'm like, man, I wish those were ready for Thanksgiving, because I'm really trying to get in the mindset of like, if it's not ready for this certain thing, of course I said I was gonna make an exception for Thanksgiving, but if it's not ready, then I just won't have it. And that's been the biggest like deal with this challenge, is like, if I don't have it and I can't make it, then we just won't have it. And I think that's probably one of the biggest hurdles to get over in our current way of doing things, because food is so available to us. Doesn't matter if it's in season, doesn't matter whatever, like if we're willing to spend the money, it's there. And taking that away is really reframing how I think. Even though I would say I was probably already pretty advanced in thinking seasonally and using what I have and having a fluctuating meal plan to use what's in front of me and making things from scratch where I can, but it's just the next level, and it has invigorated me with passion for food. I just sat here that whole time chatting and not drinking my coffee, so I'll be back. All right, a few minutes later. Yeah, so I've been looking at all of this stuff coming up and thinking about the meals that I'm gonna develop around these foods. What is this? See, I already forgot what I planted here. All this grass is sprouting out of this hay. Oh, these were beets, golden beets. I have to pull the grass up, but I might just wait and let the beets come up well before I do that. Mulching with hay means you're gonna get some grass. But it's usually very easy to pull out because it's very surface level, so I don't mind it. I'm kind of so nervous to get mulches places because I'm nervous about contaminants. So I prefer mulching with straw. It's very insulating. It's typically cheaper, but I don't have a source for straw that I know for sure it hasn't been sprayed with broadleaf herbicides. And this hay was cut next door off Papa T's land, so I know that it's fully organic. And so I'm dealing with the weeds, because hay is a really good mulch. It is very insulating, and it actually straw is a byproduct of, I may get this mixed up. Straw is a byproduct of cereal crops, so it's just the shaft of the grasses, and then they thresh out the main part. Hay is actually the whole grass, and so with hay there's seeds in it. But because hay is the whole grass and not just the shaft, it actually has a lot of nutrients still in it. So when hay breaks down, it actually feeds the soil more than straw does. However, with hay, you have to deal with more seeds than with straw. I just looked up and realized that I don't know if these are wasps or dirt daubers, but there are a ton of them in here. I just sat under these guys. I don't know if this is even going to show up, but there's like probably 30 down there. Well, they didn't bother me. Oh, I see their nest back there. Ugh. Oh wow, look at this. This is the peacock kale. I planted this on a video a couple weeks ago. It's typically ornamental, but Baker Creek was selling it this year, saying it's delicious, so I decided to try it, and look at that. That is beautiful. It's been a while since I've been stung by anything, but when they do, it really hurts my feelings. I get stung, you know, I mean, I've been stung many times being out in the garden, especially when we had bees. I didn't get stung a ton, but there were a couple times that our bees just decided we had one hive that had a queen in it. We ended up re-queening that hive. She was aggressive, and if your queen is aggressive, the rest are aggressive in that hive. I would just be working, they would just start stinging me, and I'm like, what did I even do to you? And it hurts, but it also hurts my feelings because I'm like, hey, I'm trying to create an ecosystem where we can all get along, okay? Sometimes whenever I don't have a dinner plan, I just come and walk out in the garden to just get inspired by whatever's growing. Of course, this time of year there's not as much, but I don't know. We got a bunch of potatoes and sweet potatoes, got pumpkins coming out of our ears. There's got to be some inspiration in there somewhere. Oh, brown. Good evening, ladies. We're gonna go visit with these animals for a moment. I literally had no point in this video. I was just wanting to hang out. I shared in my last vlog that we have been discussing for the last few months and have decided on getting goats again. And you know, I'm sharing this at the point of like we've decided, and I said it might take a while, and it might. Like I've been looking on different forums and stuff. I know I want either Nubians or La Manchas. Some people have suggested some other breeds, but I also have a fondness and like a history with Nubians and La Manchas. So there is kind of that, you know, like, and this is something that I want like for my heart also, not just for the sake of productivity. I just love both of those breeds. But I'm not really seriously looking, because if I found the perfect animals right now, I don't have fences, and I don't want to add pressure to our already busy to-do list. However, I am actively looking for a St. Croix ram for my ladies. I've got these 2 ewes. I'm open to more ewes, but I'm not looking for them right now. Oh, Fern, you're coming in hot, girl. You're a big animal to be walking up on me like that. Okay, there we go. Oh, licky, licky. Sweet girl. There's Miss Helen. So Freya is dry, so she's out in the pasture. Hope's out in the pasture. And we're really hoping that she's rebred. It took a long time. But Helen and Fern are both in full lactation, getting milked morning and evening. Their babies are weaned now. I'm going to come over here to talk because they are aggressive when it comes to love. So yeah, I'm looking for a ram to breed these 2 ladies, and then their offspring will raise up. And we may just, I don't know, I'm still kind of exploring that. If I find a ram, that'd be great. I might find one that I could rent, because if they had ewe lambs, we could keep them and then just process any of the rams that we get. So I don't know, we're still kind of working that out. I am actively, casually looking. I'm not like scouring the internet every day, but kind of casually looking for a St. Croix ram. And that would be really exciting, because then we would have little lambs next year. This will be their first time. So we got them this time last year, and they were only a few months old. So they're old enough to breed now. They're full size. And so that's something else that's happening on the farm. Several people had mentioned the potential, like, hey, why don't you get sheep to milk? And I could do that, but I really just want goats. And it has to do with just the history. Like, goats were just something that I really loved having, and it was not the right season. You know, when we moved here, I was dealing with my health stuff. I mean, like, my friend Amanda ended up with some of my like favorite goats, and she honestly had to rehab them pretty good because they'd just been out in the field and not handled since we moved. And you know, she had to get their hooves back in order and their coats, and I mean, she's done a great job with them. But I really just want goats again. Like, nothing against milk sheep, nothing against any of those other things. I just loved that, and it's kind of the big point for me. Yes, I want the milk, but it was also just like wanting to have something small that I can manage that will be like a connection point with the farm. Though I think that lambs will be really lovely as well. They just don't require as much. They're fairly hands-off. It'll just be exciting, and they'll be so cute. A baby lamb is, well, and a baby goat. Those two are about the cutest as they come. Calves are cute too. Any baby animal is cute, but lambs and goats are just another level, especially like Nubian goat kids. Long ears. Be still my heart. Well, guys, not a whole lot of point to this one. Just wanted to spend a moment with you and take a little walk around the farm, drink my coffee, hang out with my cat, my animals, my chickens. Thanks for hanging out with me today and all the days that you do. I bless you. Until next time.